Hey guys, just section of violence here. We got a fun freaking weekend ahead. We got BKFC, we got Bellator, but to start, we got Bellator. Bellator, I can't remember the start time. 6:30 p.m. Yeah. So we got to start. We got Michael Blockus versus Ellie Medford. So Michael Blockus, he's a credentialed wrestler, I assume. Doesn't have a pro or amateur career. He should win this quite easily. He's facing an 0-4 opponent. Can't get much easier than that. Yeah, I'm gonna take him by KO. Taking a shot here. Hopefully he doesn't submit him. I prefer a KO. Moving on, we have Jordan Oliver taking on Andrew Torillo. The two locks of the card. I got Jordan Oliver by late second or late or third round finish. Hopeful he even gets a decision. I like the over here. He's a little older. That's the reason why I'm going. The thing is with him is he trains at Killcliff, which gives him that experience and confidence that he needs to, go for a finish. So if I wouldn't be, I wouldn't hate a finish play here, but I'm gonna go with the over. Moving on, we have Jerrell Hodge taking on Marciali Alves. So Marciali Alves, he's got clean boxing, or not clean boxing, decent boxing, nasty power in his hands. Um, he keeps a decent high guard. Um, I don't know what. There's not a lot to be desired with him. He's all right. He's definitely good. I do think that he has a potential to catch Jerrell Hodge. Depending how his cardio is. Um, I'm going to go with Jerrell Hodge by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jerrell Hodge wins this, or if Marcelo Alves catches him and puts him out. Nascimento almost put him out, so I think Alves could too. Yeah, Jerrell Hodge here. They both looked pretty good at the weigh-ins. Alves looked a little better, but it is what it is. Moving on, we got Casima versus Josh Hill. I am teammates with Josh Hill, so I'm not even going to talk about this fight. Yeah, wish my brother Josh the best, and yeah, moving on. We got Leandro Higo versus Nikita Macalov. Leandro Higo, man, it's a weird one because I do think his jiu-jitsu is good enough to where it can reverse Nikita's wrestling, but I do think Nikita's well-rounded enough to where he could beat him on the feet as well. I'm gonna go with Macalov, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Higo get a submission or a decision win. I'm gonna go with Macalov here by decision. Moving on, we have Alfie Davis taking on Elon Cruz. Elon Cruz, he is a lengthy striker with some okay jiu-jitsu or some decent jiu-jitsu and grappling. I'm gonna go with Alfie Davis, but the wrestling of and the grappling of Elon Cruz does worry me. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Alfie Davis just using his footwork and his experience, and yeah, getting the better of Elon Cruz by decision. Moving on, we have Sullivan Cully versus Hamza Salim. Yeah, so we got Sullivan Cully here, and I do think he's another pretty much easy spot here. Hamza Salim is 7-6. What else can you say about that? Cully, he obviously has a little less experience, but he's faced better competition. I got to go with Sullivan Cully here. I think he had a boo boo in his last fight, um, facing Luke's trainer, and I think he's going to make it up for it in this fight. Moving on, we got Diana Silva versus Ekaterina Shakalova. I think Shakalova wins this with her grappling, either by decision or, yeah, probably by decision. I just like her style of grappling. It's very, very good. Great grappling, good ground and pound. I just worry about the experience and the striking of Diana. She's also pretty big and muscled. I'm gonna go with Shakalova here. Moving on, we have Gyro Pacheco taking on Vladimir Tokov. Tokov, he knocked out Lance Gibson Jr. in his last fight. So we have to take the power on the feet seriously. I think he's facing someone who, in my opinion, has, well, he's all right. He has some skills. He's beat mostly bums. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Vladimir Tokov here by decision. I just think he has more ways to win this fight. It's gonna be an interesting one though. A lot of these fights don't need a lot of time to talk about because it is what it is. But yeah, Diana Avsaragova versus Justine Kish. Kish, she's a vet. She makes fights close. Avsaragova makes fights close with girls she should not be making fights close with. For that reason, I'm gonna go with Diana Avsaragova still, but I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not mad at a Justine Kish prediction, and I'm not mad at the bet at plus 300 either. So. Anyways, moving on. We got Jalen Bates versus Enrique Barzola. Enrique Barzola he's gonna come off a rise of Peru. Two of his probably friends and teammates have won. Jalen Bates though, he's a real deal. He's got some good grappling. He hustles hard. He's got the wrestler's mentality to keep going. Enrique Barzola though is experienced as it gets. Faced Killer's Row. I do think this is going to be another win for him. Or not. I'm gonna go with Barzola here, but I'm not totally confident. And I do see a world where Bates could win this fight by submission as well. So I might switch it to Bates by the morning, but for now it's Barzola. Moving on, we got Lucas Brennan taking on Weber Almeida. Um, Lucas Brennan, I rate his grappling, man. He's got some slick jiu-jitsu, and I think he's gonna beat Weber Almeida by submission. I don't see Weber Almeida being any different than his previous opponents. Weber Almeida has good hips. He's decent at striking. I just think he makes fights close with people he shouldn't, and Lucas Brennan is very good and trains out of a good gym. I'm gonna go with Lucas Brennan here. Moving on, we have Sydney Outlaw taking on Islam Mamedov. Mamedov is a very, very dangerous fighter. Just joking. He is there to hold you and win points. Mamedov is a frustrating fighter to watch. Um, I don't know how many finishes he has, but it probably isn't many. Um, oh, he has 10 wins by submission. Okay. Okay, so he's not terrible. Um, I do think he's gonna win this fight. He's just in my opinion, the more seasoned, the most seasoned opponent. Sydney Outlaw, I feel like he's gonna have some problems here. He trains out of a good gym. He's experienced as well. He's beat good guys, Adam Pecoletti, Jury. Um, but I do think he is a little chinny, and I think fighting, and also I don't rate him that well. Sydney Outlaw is just he's good at grappling, but that's about it, man. Moving on, we have James Gallagher versus James Gonzalez. Battle of the James. I just think Ali Cat's gonna win this one. I think Gallagher's gonna break over time, and Gonzalez could pick up a late finish, either round two or round three. I'm gonna sprinkle on a round two, three prop, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Gallagher pick up an upset. A win. He's been training at Bangtao, so never know the looks he's been getting over there. But yeah, moving on. I'm gonna go with James Gonzalez here in a close fight. Moving on, we got Aaron Jeffries taking on Dalton Rasta. Now, I normally wouldn't talk about this fight, but I have a lot of faith in Aaron Jeffries here, especially at dog money. I just think Jeffries is a side. He's more technical. He's more experienced. He's better. I just love Aaron Jeffries here. Yeah, that's probably my play of the day tomorrow. I might make it a 10 unit play. I don't know. I'm leaning just gonna leave. I might leave it just at four, but I don't know. I'm pretty confident. But yeah, moving on. We have Steve Mowry taking on Valentin Madovsky. Um, Moldavsky, man, he looks better at the weigh-ins, and he had success with the grappling last time. I just think Mari is a funky fighter to fight. He has got the knees and he's got the jiu-jitsu, and his random spurts of energy. But yeah, I got Moldavsky here. I think it's a pretty self-explanatory reason why. Um, yeah. Moving on, we got Brandon Ward versus Logan Storley. Now, this one's an interesting one because I think Logan Storley wins this one every day of the week. I think he wins this by unanimous decision. His only losses are to the champ, Amasov. I think he wins this by battling through a lot, maybe a little adversity, but I don't think he'll face much. I think he'll just drag him out to the deep end and maybe even get a submission, ground and pound. I don't know. I just think this is should be a fair fight for him. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Storley here. I think his wrestling's gonna be too much. But yeah, moving moving on to the most confident picks. Number one being Blockus. Number two, Oliver. Number three, Cully. Number four, uh, number four. I'm gonna have to go with Lucas Brennan, and number five, Aaron Jeffries. Moving on to BKFC. All right, guys, let's get into it. Ugh. BKFC, the greatest sport on earth. So, to start off the card, we got Anthony Sanchez versus Gene Perez. Gene Perez should not be fighting. He should not be sanctioned. This is a mismatch. Anthony Sanchez is going to run through him. Derek Perez is who he lost to, but at least he put up a good fight against a guy who would not go away. I believe he is going to win this fight as well. Solid one unit play. Yeah, I don't know about a max play, but I think he's a solid one unit play. 1 or 2 units, but not at negative 400. I wouldn't touch these odds. I wouldn't even touch the fight at negative 400. But anyways, moving on. We have Austin Lewis taking on Justin Martinez. Justin Martinez, man, he is well. He's on roids. He cracks. He swings decent hooks. He hasn't won one single BKFC fight. He's lost by KO in the first round most of his fights, and he's fighting Austin Lewis, who has eight and three in his fights. He beat Herrera by punch, so he's got power. I'm gonna go with Austin Lewis here. I think he's got a good shot at winning. Yes, it's BKFC. He's never done it before, but the guy's never won who he's fighting, so I'm gonna go with Austin Lewis here. Moving on, we have Kyle McElroy versus Richard Montano. Kyle McElroy lost a bunch of weight for middleweight or whatever division he's trying to fight at now. Yeah, he hasn't won a single fight in BKFC. Last one was absolutely embarrassing. He's facing a 11 and 10 opponent, who is not doing too good. Hasn't had a fight since 2010. He is probably in his 40s. I'm gonna go with Kyle McElroy, more experience in this, and just activity, strength of schedule. But it's not a confident pick. I don't like Kyle McElroy personally, and to be honest, I just think he isn't very good either. So low confidence pick, but I got him at great odds, so I'm gonna take it. Moving on, Eric Dodson versus Robert Armas. Armas, ah, he's just not that guy, Like he got smoked by Blas. He got smoked by Travis Floyd. Or not smoked, but he got beat up by Travis Floyd, and his one win is over Jacoby Lowry. So I gotta go with Eric Dodson here. I feel like it's a pretty safe prediction. Dodson comes for the kill. Does leave his chin exposed a little bit, which worries me. But I do believe he's gonna run through these guys. He's faced Nick Villar, who I believe is on the same level as him. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go with yeah, Eric Dodson. This is definitely might be a little bit of a step up, but I do think Dodson still wins this. Moving on, we have Donald Sanchez versus Blake Lacaz. We got some beef. An Albuquerque, New Mexico boy. He came to BKFC fighting Jeremy Smith. He lost, and I don't know, man. Blake Lacaz has he's nasty, man. He's got a nasty jab, and he can hurt you. He lost to Doug Coltrane. Doug Coltrane's good, so there's nothing really to get too mad about that. Joseph Brett Williams. Like these are some guys who I do think he has a chance of beating. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Blake Lacaze here. Um, it's a low confidence pick, but I'm gonna ride it out. This might be another one of those situations where you don't bet on bums. But anyways, moving on. Joshua Moreno versus Jeremy Sauceda. Jeremy Sauceda is terrible. Joshua Moreno is going to run through him as long as he doesn't get clipped somehow. Moving on, we have Sydney Smith versus Melanie Shaw. Melanie Shaw is not good. She just comes forward. That's her best attribute. She eats a lot of punches, and she isn't good. Sydney Smith actually is technical, and she's going to batter Melanie Shaw. She beat Andy Tittertat Newigin, and also she's been dropped by Newigin, so I don't know. Be careful about that, but I do think Smith wins this. Moving on, we got Eric Gates versus Ettenberg. Ettenberg's a Muay Thai fighter. I feel like this is a pretty safe spot for him. It's his first time in Muay Thai in BKFC, but I feel like he should adapt quickly. Derek Gates does have power and his experience in BKFC, but I do think Ettenberg gets the job done. But I do think sprinkling a little bit on Gates isn't a bad idea. Moving on, we have Will Santiago versus Jeremy Holloway. Don't know the odds for this one, so I'm gonna have to assume Santiago's the favorite. Um, yeah, not the greatest of wins or losses. Seems like he has some power. I'm gonna go with Will Santiago, but it's not a confident pick. I have no idea who this Jeremy Holloway guy is, so strictly taking him because this is where he's from and his record in BKFC. Moving on, we have Keith Richardson versus Derek Perez. Derek Perez was in a scrap of one of the scraps of the year. It was very low level, but it was a really cool scrap, nonstop. This guy's got cardio, and he's tough. He's gonna keep coming. Um, I actually am on Keith Richardson because of common sense, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Derek Perez pull an upset here. Absolutely not. And that leads me to my next one. Bryce Hall, G. Perez. Another one where I would not be shocked to see an upset. Yes, I would be shocked, actually. No, this one I would be shocked. But it wouldn't shock me at the same time because where he's been training with Lorenzo Hunt. Yeah, that you can't Lorenzo Hunt can't fight for him. True. But why would he take this fight? He's way bigger than this guy. That's one thing. He's an athlete. He can punch. I guarantee he's gonna have some power. And I do think G Perez. How old is G Perez? I think he's good and everything, but I do think this kid has a chance, man. And call me crazy all you want, but I'm gonna take a shot on Bryce Hall just for this shit being rigged. But yeah, guys, don't I'm on G Perez, very confident, one of my locks of the card, but would not be surprised to see some rigged shit here. Moving on, we got John Dodson versus J.R. Ridge. Easy money, John Dodson. J.R. Ridge quits in fights. Simple as that. I love J.R. Ridge. He's a great guy, but he tends to quit, and I'm not going to be backing him if he's going to quit in fights. And it's not like he wants to quit; it's mostly because he can't handle the pain. Because he's very hittable, and yeah, that's the point. I think John Dott's going to be too quick, and he's going to piece him up in the first and get him out of there. Lock of the card, I would have to say between Judd Dodson, um, and Joshua Moreno, and Uh, and G Perez would probably them, and then I'd have to say Keith Richardson. But I wouldn't be shocked to see him lose. Eric Dodson, Joshua Marino. I think I already said that though. Yeah. All right, guys. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. And I'll catch you next time.